Hi everybody! Today I'm back working in the Women of Tua by Lisa Johanna or Johanna, and today I thought I'd work on doing her jewellery, necklace and a headband, earrings, and maybe doing the background and seeing how we go from there. Seeing if time permits us to go any further, then yeah I will, but we'll see how it goes. For her jewellery I've decided I'm going to use a gold combination, the same one that I used in my recent Hannah Carlson picture, which was with Castle Arts gold pencils. It's Tuscan Yellow Light, Primrose Yellow, Green Gold, Earth Green, and Walnut Brown. I'll put all those down in the descriptions with the numbers and everything. But this is what I was using in the Hannah Carlson book, and I thought it might work for this lady because it's kind of greeny yellows in there, and I thought that might make it stand out a bit from her hair, so I'm going to see how that goes. And I'm going to start off with the walnut brown, the darkest areas, just adding where the darkest kind of shadows would be under her hair, underneath where these kind of chainy bits come, and kind of getting lighter in towards the middle where my highlights are going to be. My dark here going up around this crystal bit, and under here, under her hair. Okay, for her earrings, the darkest bit would be where it disappears behind her face. I'm trying to do a line along the edge that's furthest away there. This bit would maybe have a little glint to it, but that's mostly in shadows. And her necklace, around here where it goes off behind her neck. There is a very, very thin line there showing the top edge. I'm going to try and leave that as the paper for now. See how I figure that out as we go along. Some more kind of dangly chains on her necklace there. And the shade would be along the bottom, kind of bottom edge of this kind of solid metal chain. More shadows behind her neck there. And where the chains are crossing each other again, I'll work towards the middle where the highlight will probably be, just to try and make it look as if it's curving there, and a little bit shadowed there for a curve. Okay, there's the walnut brown, and next I moved on to earth green, which I hope will make this gold colour stand out from her hair. And it does make, surprisingly, it's called earth green, and the next one is green gold, but they do make quite a nice gold colour, I found, once you combine them all together. I'm just adding this onto, kind of extending from where we just did the brown, extending a little bit on with a slightly lighter colour. Just following where I want the kind of darker bits to be. It seems to be working quite well to contrast with her skin, but when I move on to her hair, we'll see how well this idea works. I would have felt a bit lazy doing it the quick way, and it would have been quite hard to get into these little tiny areas with a Sharpie as well, so yeah, I think that is working quite well to stand out from her hair there. Because this yellow is quite greeny. Oh, it's a greeny brown more than a greeny yellow, this one. See that reddish hair is opposite side of the colour wheel, so hopefully they should stand out from each other quite well. A little tiny bit in that there. Wouldn't be seeing too much of a shine there because it's right in the shadows of her hair. Okay, the next one that I would move on to is the green gold. Again, just extending out from where we've done our shadows. I'm trying to leave a few white highlights, which I'll probably go back in with the white gel pen and add some little white highlights there. But having a little bit of white paper showing always helps. There we go, that's working quite well, I think. You might fill that whole thing in with that darker, because that is in the shadows there won't be much of a glint. Right, that's going quite well. And moving on to Primrose yellow, and I don't want to use too much of that. This is just to give it a slight, more of a yellowish sort of tint to it. Just in the very light areas. I'll go over that edge there. We might not even need the Tuscan yellow. These are quite small areas of gold, and in the Hannah Carlson book it was a pretty big kind of crown that I was colouring, and some rather larger headdresses and stuff. So after the Primrose yellow, I faded out into the Tuscan yellow light just to lead into the highlights. But I don't think I've quite got enough room here, so I think we might leave it as we are. There we go. Might add a little bit of the black. This is the polychromous black that I also use in Hannah Carlson. Just anywhere that might need a little bit of extra emphasis. Oh, I forgot another earring there, hadn't I? I'll go back in with the earth green. A little bit of the green gold. And going over that with the Primrose. A few little white highlights. I'll just go over her face there where I slipped with the pencil, and add a few little sparkly highlights for this gold necklace. Where should we be? Maybe a little bit here. If I remember right, our light is coming from the right, so the right hand side would have the most sparkles. Maybe a tiny little bit there. Tiny bit. That's looking good. And I've picked out a couple of combinations of greens for these, because we have two different types of crystals. We have these on her necklace and her jewellery, and we have these big kind of hexagonal ones in the background. So I thought maybe if I use some more kind of yellowy greens for these little ones that are supposed to be on a jewelry kind of closer to us, that would make them come forward a bit, because generally the rule is if you use a warmer looking color, that kind of makes the object appear closer towards you and the cooler colors appear further away. So if you use the warmer colors in your foreground, bluer colors in the background, that kind of makes it work to give it 3D depth. So not always that is the rule, but there are exceptions. But that's what I like to work to, like yellow towards the front, blue towards the back, and it gives you a bit of depth. So what I've done is I've picked out a greenish yellow kind of color combination to use for these emeralds on her jewelry, to hopefully make those look as if they're closer towards us. So for those, I've gone on to the Castle Arts, just a soft touch, normal Castle Arts pencils. I've picked out chrome green, that's 053, leaf green light, 081, and leaf green middle, 060. Leaf green light was 061, leaf green middle, 060. I've picked those out to give these crystals a bit of colour, so we'll start on with the darkest. These crystals are not very big at all, so I'm just going to try and give a hint that there's something there more than anything. It's a lot harder when things are this small to give any kind of detail to it, but we'll try. Especially on the edges, closer to the light, those would be the lightest because the light is going into the crystal and you wouldn't really be able to see much through the other side. I have got a few little touches of the flesh tone in there because if the crystals are see-through, obviously you'll be able to see a tiny touch of her skin colour through there. We'll see how that works. Like I said, they are very small, so that would be pretty dark, I think. Okay, and now earrings. Hopefully this should stand out quite well from that reddish hair she's got. A really nice contrast. These ones are slightly bigger. Maybe suggest slightly bit more of a structure going on. Hopefully. Okay. On to the leaf green middle, 060. These are very yellow greens. So I'm hoping that these will stand out well. Try and make these ones quite light to stand out in the dark of her hair there. Probably not a realistic thing to do, but I'm not sure whether we'll actually go around the outside of these with the gel pen. I'm not sure they're quite big enough to be able to do that, but we'll see. And here's the leaf green light. make it look as if that light is going through the crystals. Even less of the white space on the furthest side, the left side that's furthest away from where our light source is. Okay, I might go into those with a tiny touch of the black. That's where the crystals seem to be. I'm not sure if they're underneath or coming out of this necklace. Quite a bit more shadow there. Gives a bit of a difference between the crystal and the necklace anyways, if nothing else. Oops, didn't do much with those, did I? Light leaf green. Not too much, we don't want to deaden the colours. If you use a bit too much black and shading, it can make your colours look a bit flat, and we don't want that. Okay. Let's see what we can do with the gel pen. Give these a bit more. Yeah, I don't think I'll go over the edges. This one. Just adding a few reflections in there where I think the light would be. Okay, there we go. A little bit of shadow behind those there. Oops, forgot that ear. Really can't see them super well. Let's give these a little bit of shadow to bring those out a little bit more. This is the walnut brown. I'm just adding little shadows behind these onto her skin. Seems like they might need it. And here. There we go. Okay, that's the crystals on the jewellery. And for the crystals in the background, I've picked out some bluer greens. I haven't tried out this combination yet, so this will be a first time. We'll see how it goes. So hopefully it'll make these crystals look as if they're further in the background. I might have to add a bit of black or a bit of white, but these are what I've picked out. That's phthalo green 050, phthalo green light 051, and jade green 106. So I'm going to see what kind of effects we can get with those. Okay, trying to keep the darker side to the left, but think about the light coming in from the right. And this one would be casting shadow down here. Hopefully as well, because they are bluer shades of green, kind of cooler shades of green, they will give a nice contrast to her warm red hair as well. Just moving with those kind of diagonal kind of strokes that seem to make things look more crystally. We'll be working on top of that, but yeah, I think those kind of diagonal strokes for some reason make crystals look more crystally to me. And they're fun to do, so hey. Across the top, I'm not sure. Let's try it anyway. Why not? That's not looking too bad. I might go around the edges of this one with the gel pen. If I do that, that might be after I've done the background, because I'm planning on maybe doing the background using super tips and scribbling on the plate and trying to use the super tips as a kind of watercolor paint. I'm not sure if this Amazon paper will take it. I have used it previously in a Zambon Z book, which was also on watercolor paper, so hopefully that should work. So these ones here would be in the shadow behind her head, so let's add a few shadows here. Again, the light is coming from the right, and we do want these crystals to sort of look transparent with the light traveling through them, but they still would be casting shadows onto each other, so this side would be a lot darker. There wouldn't be as much light getting there in the first place, and the crystals would be casting shadows on each other, so we'll build up these shadows a bit more. I might go into those with a bit black. I think on the cover these little mushrooms have a little bit of a glow to them, a bit of a yellow glow, so I'm not sure whether to add that into our crystals or if another source of light might complicate things. Might just leave it a little bit pale around there where the mushrooms are, and then I'll have the option of adding the glow in if I feel like it later. That's a phthalo green. I'm going to move into a phthalo green light now. tops of these crystals look like they would be catching the most of the light, so leave some white paper there on the tops. I'm going quite lightly with the colour there on top as well. This crystal is very tall, being quite a lot of light, so try and leave that fairly open. There we go. I'll just work on this side and go over to the other side later just to see if this colour combination does work. Like I said, this is my first kind of test of it. This is the jade green I'm going in with now. And after this, I'll go and blend the colours with the Primrose white. Try and make it look a bit more smooth. Let's see if I need to add any more darker shadows. I might need to down here in between the crystals as they all meet together. Let's blend those with the Polychromos white. See how we get on with that. Might need to work into it a little bit more. Okay, that side's all blended, and I might go in with the black, I think, just to emphasize these shadows a little bit more. Down where the crystals are all meeting and where they're going behind her shoulder. I might emphasize the corners as well. Try and leave the tops fairly light. I'll go back in with the darker green, I think, the phthalo green. Some more blending there, I think. I think that maybe these do need a little touch of yellow, so I might see what this Tuscan yellow light does. That's better, I think. As our light is supposed to be kind of a yellowy cream anyway, that does make sense. These crystals have a little bit of yellow in them. Not so much that they compete with these ones here, but yeah, I think a little bit is what's needed there. Let's see how the white pen would affect that. Okay, I probably cut that out or fast forwarded it because it's not the most interesting thing to watch, but I aligned all these crystals with the white gel pen. I'm just going to go through and tidy up the edges now. Shade in the corners. This is the phthalo green. Yeah, I really do think that yellow has worked. I need the black as well. Emphasizing these corners. And shadows, giving a bit more contrast down there. Not sure if I'm 100% sold on this green combination, though adding the yellow was definitely an improvement, I think. And they do definitely look different to the crystals that are in her necklace, so that's a plus. Just going to keep going with the phthalo green and the black just until I'm happy with this side, and then move on to the other side with crystals. bit more of the yellow into this one. Show that light is going through the crystal. There we go. I'm pretty much happy with that side now, so it's time to move on, see if I can remember how I did it, move on to the other side. I have left doing the top of the crystals with the white gel pen because I'm hoping to do this background with the super tips, kind of diluted with water on a plate. So I've left the white off there because I don't want it dissolving into the paint. So a phthalo green light. Still trying to show that the light is going through the crystal, even though there's not much light on this side. It's in shadow there, so we'll these ones are going to be darker because there's not as much sunlight coming through this side. I'll try and leave a little bit of an area around the mushrooms because on the cover they do seem to be glowing a tiny bit, so I want to give myself the option of maybe doing that if I feel like it. Okay, and onto the jade green. Let's go and add a little bit of yellow to there. That will be the Tuscan yellow light. Okay, we'll try blending that out with the polychromos white. I'll most likely go in and add some shadows with the black. This will be quite dark this side, hopefully. Once we've finished, it will look as if these ones are furthest away from the light, but still sort of a little bit transparent. And again, I'll go over the edges with the white gel pen, just to give them, just to make them stand out a little bit. There we go, that's all blended, so I'm going to go in there with the black now. Try and add a few more shadows. Make this look as if they are furthest away from the light and kind of behind her, so not getting as much sunlight as the other side. The top part of these crystals would be getting more light than the bottom, so I'll try and leave those a little bit lighter. Let's add a little bit of the white gel pen outlines and see how we can go from there. Oops, cover up a few. Let's get rid of the black again and show those corners. And the baby green. A bit more blending there with the white. It does make the colours slightly paler, but it makes them a lot smoother, more glossy looking. More black on this edge, I think. Alright, I'll just add a few more reflection lines on the top of these crystals. Not so many that side, that is in the shade. Yeah. And a few of those. And I'm quite happy with those crystals now, so let's move on to the background. Okay, the background on the front cover is more of a reddy brown, it's more of a reddy brown, kind of going up into black towards the top. But what I thought maybe that would clash a bit too much with her hair, because I've used a more orangey shade for her hair than what's on the front cover. So what I thought I'd do is give a base coat of this, just a base layer of this colour. They don't have names or numbers, I'm afraid, but this colour is what I'm going to use. And just, I've scribbled on the plate there. And I'm going to pick this up with a damp brush and just put that into the background. Hopefully slightly darker this side. And fading out to a lighter colour that side. And then maybe try and get a few watercolour effects going on with it. We'll see how the paper takes to it. It seems to be soaking in pretty much as soon as I put the paint to the page. I'm not sure if that's a good sign, but I'm committed now, so. Yeah, it's definitely soaking into the page as soon as I'm putting it down, so I wouldn't recommend. I have done this before on a page in the Zamvon Z book, which is also Amazon paper, but like I said before, you do get different types of Amazon paper, so it kind of depends on the batch or whatever, the type of paper that you get. I don't remember this happening the first time, so yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to work with it once it's all dried. That's not drying very evenly at all, and it has been soaking into the paper as soon as I was putting it onto the page, so I'm going to have to work with it and try dropping on some just clean clear water, and hopefully that will make us some nice watercolour effects. Tone down this blotchiness, or emphasise it even, yeah, work with it. And give us a nice watercolour effect, hopefully. With a bit of luck. I have a feeling this will be really bleeding through the back of the page. I have got some blotter paper in there, so if you want to do this, yeah, just make sure you've got blotter paper, scrap paper in between. That seems to be working quite well for me. That's blurred a little bit onto her hair there. I can go over that with a white gel pen. It is bleeding onto the mushrooms here as well, unfortunately. So the super tip background did end up bleeding quite a lot. When I put the water on, it ended up bleeding quite a lot through around here on our frame. I have covered up the worst of it with white gel pen, and this is going to be the side that's probably getting the most highlights anyway, so I'll work with that next time. It's not a big disaster, don't worry, we're still going to finish this picture, and I'll show you how we're going to do that next time. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.